Come on, hit him with
Hit
the
him with
shoulder.
the shoulder.
Okay, I am going to jump right in. Obviously, we are here tonight to talk about AALC planning. And so, of course, I want to go through some logistics, but I kind of put some other information on the front end just about going to the AALC and why AALC. This group right here mainly has been there, but I'll still go through my slides since I am recording this, and I'll post it so that other people can have access to it later. But y'all, we are like, it's so crazy. Qui was just saying that how we're at the end of January so quickly, and April will be here before we know it. And so I know it sort of feel like we're meeting early, I guess, but this is like right on time. It may feel even a little late because there's, things that have to get done for us to really get ready for the AALC. And so first things first, let me make sure let's do this. Okay. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so the conference is taking place this April 22nd through the 24th. I said this before, we probably should start saying the 21st through the 24th because we are strongly encouraging everybody to come in on the Thursday. And in the worst case scenario that you cannot come in on Thursday, my strong recommendation is to take Friday off of work and come in early Friday, right? The actual conference does start on Friday evening, and you want to be there on time and be settled in and not have to deal with, the lines to get checked into the hotel, the lines to get fully registered for the conference. You want to be all ready to be settled and ready to just take in and absorb all the information that's going to be given to us while we are at the conference. For anybody who doesn't know what the conference is, right? This is the African American Leadership Council Conference. The council puts on the conference. It is for anybody in Primerica to attend the conference, right? Anybody who wants to, although it says African American leadership, that's who puts on the conference. To be a part of the actual council, you need to be of, African descent, because we do have our Afro-Canadians and our African Americans in the council. But the council is made up of people, our members, business owners, entrepreneurs in Primerica who make $200,000 or more. And so you have now, I think, we just got like number 237, I think it was. So there are 237, I can't remember that. It's something close to that. 237 families, couples, individual, people that make over $200,000 and more, right, all the way up to $2 million plus dollars. And so why should you go? Why should I? I put why should I? My youngest son, that's his, why should I? He says that. It's irritating to me, but I'm gonna use it for this this presentation tonight. But why should somebody go, right? Why should the newest person, why should the been around just a little bit of person, why should the person that's been here the longest time, why should you go to this conference, right? It's the entrepreneurship coaching, right? The generational wealth building strategies, the motivation and inspiration, the real life success, the relatable experiences, the relationship building, the mentorship, and so much more. There are so many reasons why you should go to this conference, right? Where we have leaders, there's levels to it, right? You have the people and the leaders on the stage that are going to be giving us just high quality information and nuggets to really grow and develop our businesses. But then it's also the people that you're going to be talking to as you're at the conference, right? We're right now building our businesses, 90% in this virtual world. And so even for us, we don't get to see and touch each other. So we need to be there to coach and to touch and to see one another, because that face-to-face coaching is important. It is still, although we're in this virtual world, that face-to-face coaching is an integral part of our business. And you're able to be in a just really like, I like to call it like a think tank, right? You get to be immersed in this space where people want to see you succeed, want to see you do great, right? Have the same goals in mind as you, come from the same places you come from, right? Those relatable experiences, people who come from even worse situations and worse places who have really taken this business by whole and really done something great with it. And so, we want to come together for the African American Leadership Conference, the Leadership Council Conference, to really just build and grow together, right? And our hierarchy goal is 40 people. We want to have 40 actual people, bodies at this conference. And that's between the Bracy Bay Shop, that's between Secret Weapon, that's between Blessed Dynasty. We want all of us to come together as the Prove It hierarchy and to have at the very least 40 people in attendance, right? And so with that goal in mind, we got to really start talking to people. We got to really start talking to teammates about and them actually taking the steps to come to the conference. So let's talk about conference packages, right? The packages that are being sold by the council themselves. You have a 1-ticket package, which is $648. You have a 2-ticket package, which is $799. These packages, they include conference tickets. So the package one is 1 ticket and 1 hotel room. And it also includes, of course, your registration and conference materials. The travel insurance is built in to the packages. And then the package 2 has 2 tickets, right? And so that looks like $399.50 per person if you divide that by 2. But then you have additional things, right? Individual tickets are going to be coming mid-February. They have not said how much that those individual tickets are cost, but individual tickets means that there's no hotel room attached to it, right? So there'll still be the conference ticket. You'll still get your conference materials, get access to all the conference sessions, but it will not have a hotel room attached to it. And so we will have to work with you on what the accommodations will be, right? And then any additional night in the hotel for those of us who already have packages, because right now the main hotel, the Marriott, is completely sold out, but you should be able to, I haven't heard anything that said you can't yet, should be able to add additional nights, right? If you already have a room, you should be able to add additional nights. And so that is still my understanding right now. If that changes, I will say. But I wanted to put in these additional options, right? Because I was talking about this earlier. When I first got in Primerica, in my younger years in Primerica, right? I just turned 41 yesterday. I've been in Primerica for I got here a long time ago. But when I was young, no husband, no kids. Well, actually, anyway, depending on the situation, because I think I've done it even with them, but depending on, we packed 4 in a room. That's the whole point. We packed people in a room. We reduced the cost for people. I was always willing to take one for the team, right? Because I could afford what I could afford. But if I knew that it was going to help somebody else out, I'm like, yes, let's share this room. Let's share this cost. Let's do what we got to do, right? Because I want to make sure you're there. And so what I have here are just other options, right? Under additional options. So if you add 1 or 2 people to a room, so let's say you have 3 people in a room, you take the room nights, right? And I'm saying the 2 prices are if you add the 21st to the 24th versus the 22nd to the 24th, right? So work with me. Y'all know I like to do a lot of math, right? Math is my background. So I'm trying to not make it complicated, but just let you understand. So if you had 3 people in a room plus the ticket prices, right, where I'm making an assumption on the ticket price because I don't know how much the individual tickets will be, but you put 4 people in a room. If y'all stay from the 22nd to the 24th, that's $325 per person. From the 21st through the 24th, that's $405 per person. And then the same thing, if you put 4 people in a room, that obviously reduces the cost. And so what I would, let's do it. If we need to put people in a room together, if we need to double up, whatever we need to do, let's do what needs to be done so that we can get as many people as possible on this trip. And then what will happen if we do start adding, the additional people to our rooms? Not only does it bring down the cost, but it puts everybody in the host hotel. right? Because being in a host hotel is actually a benefit. There's logistics benefits to that. All right. So this is what the conference packages look like. And so right now we and I'll say hierarchy, but really I'll speak specifically for the Prove It Base Shop, the Bracy Base Shop. This is what we have available, right? We have people who have actual full packages with tickets with a room. We have 6 of those tickets available, right? So you don't have to go to the AOL website to buy your tickets. You can come to me and we can work it out, right? And then we have 5 individual tickets that will become available once we find out. We have them already, but once we find out the full price for those, we have 5 of those that are already available, right? So that's 6 tickets, and that include the room nights. And then there's 5 that just is individual tickets, right? And so we're selling these on a first come basis, right? We want to sell these first before we send anybody to the AALC website. We want to make sure that all of these tickets and spaces are taken before we sell anything else. So this is just for everybody. Come to me first. When you have somebody new that wants to get in on the trip, come to me first. Let's work it out. Let's see, what their preferences are. I know I don't mind, like I just said, I don't mind sharing rooms, but everybody doesn't want to share rooms. So we can work it out, right? You see, we have enough available to be able to work it out. Okay. So this is what my real goal is tonight, is to make sure that you all have this information, that people know that we do have within our organization, we do have tickets available. We do want to sell these tickets. People don't have to worry about, the fact that the hotels are sold out, and that we're going to make it happen for you. Okay. But the next part is really just to make sure that you know what your action items should be right now, right? And I should have switched the first and the second one. The highest priority right now is get your plane tickets, right? If you did not get in on those group plane flights that Phoenicia put together for the Inc. hierarchy, please take it the opportunity right now on your own and go get your flights, right? Because when you get your flights, that lets me know that you're locked in, right? And as soon as you get your flights, send me the information for the flights, what day, what time, what airline. Let's get that information, but action item number 1 is get your flights. We already have our flights. I really want you to go get yours. We'll be there from the 21st through the 24th. We want you to do the same. So please, number 1, go get your flights. Number 2 is, if you do not already have a package and a ticket, or if your name is not already on somebody else's registration, let's contact me immediately so we can start working out your ticket situation, right? So that's step number 2. For those of you who are the people that purchase the packages, go into your registration and confirm that your room type is the right room type. Confirm that it's a double and not a king, right? That's one of those things that I always tell people to do, especially when it's these big group activities and group registrations. Make sure your room type is the right room type. Make sure that it's a double and not a king, or make sure it's a king if that's what you want, right? Because there's a high demand, especially for conferences like this. There's a high demand for double rooms, and so if you're willing to be in a king, go ahead and get that king room. If you know who your roommate is going to be, if you know who you're at for those packages, if you know who your +1 is going to be, go ahead and add their name as soon as you know it, right? You can add names up to the end, but I don't like to play around with that kind of stuff, because I don't want anybody to be standing in line once we get there in April for something that we could have taken care of now, right? So go ahead and add those names. There is going to be safety things in place, right? We're still in a COVID environment. We're still in a COVID situation. And so from the conference organizers are doing things to try to make sure, we do our best to keep people safe. And so that is going to be up right now. The protocol that they've put forth is, you either need to be vaccinated or you're going to have a PCR, a negative PCR test, I guess 2 to 3 days prior to coming, right? So you either need to be vaccinated or you're going to have a PCR, negative PCR test, right, to participate in the conference. So what I'm saying in this one is make sure you know where your vaccination card is, make sure it's easily accessible, make sure you already have a picture of it, whatever the case may be, and then make sure you know where a PCR testing site is. Granted, you're not going to need it today, right? This is not until April, but in preparation, know where a PCR testing site is, because I know during different waves of this COVID, it can be hard to get tested, and it can be hard. And rapid tests or home tests are not as detailed, I guess I'll call it, as PCR tests. I have a friend who's a doctor at the CDC, and so she kind of broke down the test for us and why the PCR test is the preferred test. And so make sure you know where you can get that PCR test. And then the other thing I say, I know they said the government is going to start making these N95 and KN95 masks more readily available, but start stockpiling masks if you need to. We don't want to be in a situation where it's hard to get the right kind of mask. I am a believer that masks do help and that masks do work. And so, so get those right kind of masks. Now, let's go ahead and get them things down. Whether it's Amazon or some wonderful fancy place that you like to get masks, go ahead and get that stuff now. Okay. So these are what I'm calling the action items. I'm going to actually come back and review them again before I end. But these are the things that I see as the main action items right now. Obviously, we'll have another meeting when we start to get closer to the date. And so I'll have a different list of action items at that time. But these are the things that I see as the action items at this time. All right, I'm gonna go through the agenda real quick for those of us who maybe haven't really just sat down and looked at the agenda real closely yet. But let me go through the tentative conference agenda. For those of you who have not been on a conference or traveled with us before, we do make clothing requests, right? And so we don't have them in there yet, but it's stuff like, our bigger hierarchy, the Inc. has a t-shirt, our hierarchy, the Prove It movement has a t-shirt, your base shop has a t-shirt, and so on different days we'll be asking you to wear different things. The general sessions that they do in the evening are a little bit more dressed up, so business casual, maybe even like a cocktail type dress or something may be required. So we want to make sure that you're prepared for that kind of stuff too. So I don't have that today, but just you can see why I have clothing on there, because it says it's for TBD, which as we get closer, I'll fill that stuff in. But for today, what we know today, the conference agenda. So that Thursday, the 21st, they have a power builder and VIP pool party. If you wind up on somebody's VIP package, right? If you buy into a VIP package, that will be available to you if you want to participate in that. And then that evening, on Thursday evening, they have a council gala. It used to be a council and RVP gala, but now that the council is getting so big, it's just a council gala. We used to go, we would come in, to make sure that we could go to the gala, Nick and I, when we were just RVPs before we got on the council. So that gala is Thursday night. On Friday, the registration opens early in the morning at 8 a.m. in the morning. It'll go all day, basically. There's other things. I didn't put every detail on here, but I just wanted to hit the highlights, right? We have a council-only meeting that morning to the afternoon. And then that Friday night, 7:30, kicks off the actual conference, right? 7:30 p.m. The Friday night locker room is going to be just live and off the chain, and that'll be from 7:30 to 10:30. So of course, we're going to be doing, people arriving throughout this time. We'll probably add in, at some point it'll be added in, the Prove It hierarchy, we'll do something together. The Inc. hierarchy, I'm sure we'll do something together. So those things are not added in here yet, but anticipate that they will be added in on the Friday and Saturday schedule. Saturday is jam-packed full of things. If you're an early morning riser, if you're somebody who is just, you can't travel without working out, Brittany Temple. She's a big fitness instructor, fitness guru. So she will have the fitness on Saturday morning. The VIP workshop is the first workshop of the day. So if you have VIP package, VIP tickets, that's from 8 to 10 in the morning. Last year they turned that into something that was really awesome that people really enjoyed, as far as really being able to have some one-on-one time with council members. So being at that VIP workshop is worth it to get up in the morning to go. And then 10:15 to 12:15, you have what was traditionally called the men's locker room and women's locker room. Now it's the men's locker and the boss chick workshop, right? All the boss chicks get together and really get to hear from the top women in the company. After that, RVPs have an RVP and above only workshop. And so, Kathy and Andrea will be excited to be able to be a part of that workshop for the first time, which will be completely awesome. I love the RVP workshop. And then there's a securities boot camp. Sometimes they open it up to everybody, right? Sometimes it's just for securities licensed people. So we'll find out if there's restrictions to that. But there are just some really, some people within the African American Leadership Council that are just very well educated on securities and investments, and they share that knowledge with the rest of us. And so that workshop will happen. And then that evening, Saturday evening, is the general session, right? It's the first general session. And again, we'll get to introduce see all the $1 million earners, all the council members, all of that. And then Sunday morning, right? It goes quick. It's a lot packed into Saturday, but it goes quick. And then Sunday morning, there is an optional worship service with a choir that is just phenomenal. We do the actual PFN, the Primerica broadcast from 9 to 10. Every time we get together and we have our conferences, they do a full broadcast from the conference. And so that'll be available on Primerica Online, but it'll be taped while we're there. And then that on Sunday morning from 10 to 1 is the general session. So just from looking at the conference agenda, you want to be there ready, right, at the conference, when Friday starts, and you do not want to have your flight out until, I say, do not have a flight out before 5 p.m. on Sunday, right? It's very hard. It says it ends at 1, how conferences are, how, especially when it starts to get good, it doesn't always end exactly at 1, right? And then there's just a lot of, we love it and hug it and everything else on each other and trying to get our bags and all these things. And so you have to have time. So I say, do not get a flight out on Sunday before 5 p.m. I say 5 p.m. at the earliest to get a flight out. Okay, and just so here's some additional info. The hotel parking. I need to actually, I'll go back and confirm these numbers. I started looking them up and then I got sidetracked, but they have electric car stations. They do have on-site parking if you're renting a car or if you're doing valet. We don't get a car for this trip. We don't do that. We fly in, we take shuttle buses from the airport to the hotel, and we pretty much stay at the hotel the whole time. That's pretty much how we do it. And then last year when we went, they were redoing the pools on the property. And so the pools are supposed to reopen in March. So by the time we get there in April, the pool should be open. It's a beautiful property. It has beautiful pools. I think they added in some like slides and stuff like that. So it's a really, really pretty place to be. Okay, so that's really the gist of it. I will actually, let me go ahead and stop sharing for a second and open things up for questions. I want to make sure that I answer every question that anybody has based on, I can only answer what I know right now, but I will answer any questions. So let me go ahead. Hopefully you can get one and off me. Let me open it up for questions. Questions. Okay. Cool. Well, if no questions, then I am going to run back through the, I'm going to run back through the action list once again, right? That's my last thing, just so we can make sure that everybody understands what I believe the actions are for right now. Number one, get your flights. If you haven't signed up for flights, get your flights. Number two, if you're interested in going, obviously make sure your RVP knows, but talk to me, call me, text me. Here, let me do this real quick. I'll put my phone number in the chat. Call me, text me, let me know that you're that you are ready, or that you want to make sure we have you on the list, that we want to make sure that you're a part of the group, and that you definitely will be going to the African American Leadership Conference. When I tell you this is something that you do not want to miss, right? If there's something that you're going to take off of work for, make the sacrifice for, whatever it needs to happen, this is it. You want to be at AALC. There is no way. I mean, even if they're like showing you some of it on POL, there is no way for you to get the adrenaline rush, the knowledge, the emotion. There's no way for you to get that if you're not physically there, right? You literally have to be physically in the place where all of this is happening to really get the full experience, right? You hear people talking about, to learn a language, you have to be immersed in the culture, right? That's how this is. To learn Primerica, to feel Primerica, to catch Primerica, you have to be in these kind of places and spaces, especially where a massive several thousand African Americans are gathered, right? You want to be there, right? You absolutely want to be there. It just lets you know how big Primerica is, how real Primerica is, and how much there is for you with this business. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the checklist. So flights, tickets, and rooms, right? Confirm, make sure you go, if you're already registered, take your confirmation number, check and make sure you have the right number of rooms. So if you need to add an extra room night, do that. If you need to add a roommate's name, do that. If you need to make sure your hotel type is correct, do that. When it comes to the things inside of that CVent website, when you're actually the person dealing with the registration, anything that needs to be fixed, you need to email Camila, right? I like for people to copy me if they need extra help, but I myself cannot make those changes. The things that I can help you with are the logistics, making sure you do have a ticket, making sure if you're confused about how to, getting plane tickets, I can help you through those processes. But when it comes down to the actual conference registration website, having trouble with that, you're going to have to talk to Camila. I just can help you maybe streamline what your question is. I can help you be as direct as possible with putting your questions together. But at some point, if it has to do with the online stuff, we're going to have to go through her at some point. Also, what I said, make sure you have your vaccination card, make sure you know where it is, make sure you know where a PCR testing site is, and start gathering up the right kinds of masks. And if you need to go do plastic face shields, I'm one of those people that I feel like if you're getting on an airplane, get you a plastic face shield. Every time I fly, I get a plastic face shield. Sometimes we are the only people with the full mask and shields on. I don't care. It's what I do. That's how I like it, right? So get those things that you need to be safe so that you can feel most comfortable and most safe while traveling. But everybody, that is all I have. Again, I am here. If you have any questions, I definitely want to hear from you because we definitely want every teammate to go, right? We want every single teammate to be a part of this with us. But again, I'll open it up again to see if anybody has any questions. But if nobody has any questions, then that's really all I have. That's it. So
how many swimsuits should we bring? I'm just playing. No, I'm excited. I am excited, because
That's
the
too
folks that
funny.
have the people that have the VIP packages, they're going to have the pool party on day one. And then you have all that open time on Saturday, after you've gone through all the booths, after you've already talked to all the vendors, after you've already seen all of the big money winners out there walking through the halls, you might jump in the pool again. And so, hey, bring a couple swimsuits, bring your clothes. This is a beautiful resort. Don't think of it like the Motel 6, but most of us have already been. But I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful facility, fully stocked of everything that we need. And I will say this, I've been to several events since COVID, and I'm telling you, between church events, work events, and all that, the AALC was the most organized and safest, because they would not let you come through that thing until you either had a negative test, you had your uploaded vaccination card. I mean, hand sanitizers everywhere. They had us spaced out. There was no congregating. It used to be you could, kind of mill around, and then they'd have a lot of these sessions exiting all at the same time. They had it streamlined. And so I really did appreciate that when I did go. So I want to let everybody know that when it comes to the AALC, they definitely will have your safety in mind. And so back to you, Rehema. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for that. Let me say one thing, right, about this. I want to just make sure, because I know this comes up for people, especially if you haven't gone before. Should you bring this person or that person with you? All these different types of questions, right? We're all adults. I can't tell you not to bring your cousin with you. I can't tell you, right? I can't tell you not to. But what I will say is, this is a business conference, right? And just like you would treat any business conference, treat this one the same. The great thing, like Andrea said, is we're at a great resort. So if you do have time and opportunity, you can get some, if you need to, right? Because you're going to be so motivated and inspired. If you do need to go by the pool and write your thoughts and your visions and your dreams down while you sitting back relaxing with your feet up, and whatever, do that, right? But this is a business conference, and I want to be very, very, very clear. Treat it like that, right? Is this the time to go hang out in Disney? Probably not. If you want to come in a couple days early and hang out in Orlando, or if you want to stay a couple days late and hang out in Orlando, do that. But treat Thursday to Sunday like it is a business conference, and focus yourself on being at the items on the agenda, and then leave yourself time to spend time with us, right? We want to spend time with you, right? We do. We want to talk. We want to create all of our inside jokes for later. You know what I'm saying? So everybody don't understand our AALC jokes that we have, right? So spend time. I will tell you that you have to, I call it Primerica. I mean, yeah, your Primerica stamina. It feels like we stay up late. We talking into the wee hours. You know what I'm saying? You got to build up your Primerica stamina, right? And you do it through these type of conferences, because it's just so many people. Like, I don't even know if in people's regular lives, they get to dream like we dream. They get to game plan like we game plan. They get to really just really see life through a different lens, right? See life the way it's supposed to be, as opposed to, this system, those hamster wheel that we've been thrown into, right? We get to actually see what life is really supposed to be like. So I'll talk more about this the next time we meet, but like really coming with a open spirit and an open energy and positive energy. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great conference. Let's start planning for it now. And then just make sure that we're treating it, giving it the respect that it deserves as a business conference. Okay. But thank you for speaking up, Andrea. I appreciate that. Anybody else? All right, y'all. I've held y'all long enough. I appreciate everybody for jumping on. I'll have Nick post this. Hopefully I'm actually recording it, so I'll be able to save it too. We'll see. But other than that, y'all, I appreciate it. Love you guys. Like I said, holler at me, talk to me. Let's work it out. Let's make sure you can get there. Let's make sure you're in the place. And then we'll meet in a couple weeks to start tying up all the other loose ends. All right. Love you guys.